I was, just reading. And when I was reading, I was just reminded of this concept. So specifically what I was reading about is, in my culture, Te Ao Māori, so Māori from Aotearoa, New Zealand, um, our creation process, okay, um, it goes like this. Mai te kore, ki te pō, ki te ao mārama. So what that means is, and I'll bring this into, English context as well, that te kore is the place of creation. It's where there's infinite possibility. You may know this place as the void, in English context. So the void or the nothingness. But as we know, it's a place where there's limitless, infinite. All the possibilities are in there, in te kore. And through my workings with the body, that this is accessible to connect to this place through our bodies, through connecting to the depth within our bodies. That's a story for another day. However, the breath, movement, sound can bring us into that state. Anywho, let's move on. Te pō, the darkness, right? Te pō in Te Ao Māori, and Māori literally is the night. So it's referring to the darkness. And in Western or English concepts, this is the darkness. Some practitioners work with the space because this is where creation happens, right? Often these terms are used in embodiment work. Like the primal, the dark, not bad. Just these are the languages, and same concepts in the Western teachings that I've learned as well, where the dark is not bad. Just like in Te Ao Māori, in my culture, the darkness is not bad. There is no light without dark. Like, we understand it's a natural process. However, it is the unseen. It's where, the unknown. It is, us working within our bodies, within our emotional realms, the intrinsic realms, that which we cannot see. And everything moves through this process. There's no avoiding it. Moving through to Te Ao Mārama, which is the world of light. And in Western or English concepts is the light, the physical. And so, mai te kore, ki te pō, ki te ao mārama. So everything begins as a seed, a thought, a dream. It begins in te kore, it begins in the void, and it must move through te pō, through the darkness, through the stages of the dark, of the night, and only then will it, if it's meant, come out into Te Ao Mārama, into the world of light, into the physical living world. So that's our creation process. And I know, because I worked deeply with these concepts, the void, the dark, and the light, in the Western world also. So I spent many years studying through a Western lens. And it was actually through my doing so that I was compelled, through my body, through working with my body in a Western concept, the challenge, or the wero, the challenge, wero is what it's referred to, in my language. I'm just going to translate. When I use my language, I'll just use the English equivalent as well, for those of you who don't speak Māori. It was through that work in the Western world, through those concepts such as the void, the dark, the light, and working in the somatic embodiment space, that is where how I came to coming home to my culture and finding where these teachings were. And I remember the day that this wero, this challenge, was put in place. I said to myself, I'm going to find where these teachings were taught within my cultures, because I know they are. And yeah, and I was very specific on the language. It wasn't, I'm going to go and find if they exist. I knew they did. I just needed to go and find where and how. And so bridging, like being able to absolutely find, these concepts, these esoteric, these spiritual concepts that my tupuna, my ancestors, and our people have, retained and still teach and live by, was beautiful. So that's what I was reading about. I just so happened to be reading again about these, Te Kore Te Pō, Te Ao Mārama. And when I was reading, I was getting like this little like side vision. And while I was having that side vision, I was thinking about the remix program. So this is how my body works. This is how it works. So I was having the side vision, and it was a memory about being taught probably in 2015, 2016, about 3 islands. And I've actually drawn it up to give you a visual, because I know visuals help. I'm very visual. And I'm going to have to be careful how I hold this piece of paper, because I've got like a background on. So it will like buzz in and out. Anyways, this model, because I'm a human behavior coach, and when I was in my early training days, I was working with a mentor, and they introduced this concept of the 3 islands, and this memory popped up when I was reading this book. So I was like literally holding the book, and then I was like looking up at this memory and recalling it. And as I was doing that, I was seeing how Te Kore Te Pō, Te Ao Mārama was being woven, and it was like I was being nudged to be like, that model there, this is what, this is Te Kore Te Pō, Te Ao Mārama. Then I was thinking about the remix program, and I'm like, oh, yeah. I am definitely someone who's here to help people make sense of Te Pō. The space that you can't see, but the space that you must traverse through. When I think about the people that would benefit from, everyone can benefit from inner work, but there are different variations and like levels of intensity, and like depending on like the wānanga, the space in which you work is different for everybody. And so I was thinking about like the people that I'm working with, what are they, why are we, what's the work I do, and why would they be coming to do that work? And I was thinking about Te Pō, and it's like when you're just like going about your days in your life, right? And you're not really needing to, how do I put it? Let me just find my wordings, please. When you're currently living in Te Ao Mārama, in the world of light, in the physical world, and you are just, you've created or manifested the life that you're living, right? And you're just getting on with that life. and you're not really phased, or, it doesn't take too much creativity to live the life that you have. It's kind of just like, you're happy with doing what you're doing. Then, you know, there may not, it may not require, going to certain depths to create, because you're just getting on with what you're already doing. Now, I'm not saying I'm not saying that people are staying stagnant when they're just doing what they're currently doing. Of course, every day with every breath comes new creations and new variations to our day, right? However, if someone's happy in the job that they have or in the life that they're living, and they're just like ticking on and doing what they're doing at a steady pace, and they're not really being called to do much else. They're just happy getting on with what they're doing, and they genuinely love what they're up to, then the chances of us them planting or daydreaming or calling in, new experiences, therefore having to traverse through the creation process through Te Po to then bring it through to a new physical reality, is going to be, they're not really going to be doing that. Although they'll be doing variations of that process, maybe on a more chill scale, doesn't require much transition or there won't be much challenge in what they're creating. So when I think about the people that I'm working with, the things that they're calling in require them to become maybe a vastly different version of themselves. And there's bigger challenges through that creation phase that they're going to need to know how to handle. And so when I thought about this remix program and I saw the 3 islands, I was like, oh, okay. I am someone who helps people navigate their way through those phases of Te Po, through the unseen, right? That's the role, and because it can get quite tricky. So what happens is that if you've got big goals and big aspirations, those are in te kore, those are things that you're daydreaming about, that you're calling in. But maybe those experiences are far from your current reality at the moment. And so in order to bring that through, there's parts of you that you need to prepare. There's aspects about yourself that you need to get prepared in order to bring those through. And that creation process through Te Po, there's many, many phases. And even in our whakapapa, in our genealogy, there's there's many phases of this dark period, this creation period, this gestation period, you could call it, before something comes out into creation in Te Ao Mārama. So, yeah, back to the drawing. Please stay still. So on island 1, oh, you're not. So on island 1, this top one at the top, this is where we currently are. And island 3, this one down the bottom, is where we want to be, is where we're trying to get to. Now this island in the middle, this is where people like me, who do this kind of mahi, live this kind of life. This is where we hang out, in the middle. And then we help bridge the journey. On island 3 is all our aspirations and our desires, where we want to go, right? Want to feel, have more freedom, have more peace, ease, all of these good feeling things, right? Over on island 1, we might be a bit over it, okay? So we might be tired, busy, doing things that we don't want to do. And we want to move from that. We want to move from that space. Holy wreck. This is doing my head in. Oh, yeah. So we want to move from that island 1 over to island 3. And so that's me and my homies that do this work. These are little boats, right? And we know these waters. We know these waters and how to safely get somebody over to island 3. So that's all that was popping off in my head, was that island 1 is like our current reality. And the moment where we dare to dream, dare to daydream, dare to want, dare to think about, dare to research a better, a alternative reality, that's where we start thinking about going to island 3, going to a new place. And there's a journey to be had. So everything is possible. You know, there's infinite possibility. That's what Te Kore is. You know, that is the place. And everything is everything and nothing at the same time. And it's dependent on what? It's dependent on our focus. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because the tohu, the download, the reminder that I got that night when reading and having all these little visions popping off, is that in Te Ao Māori, in my culture, for our people, as I mentioned before, these are our atua. So these are who we come from. These are entities in which we come from, and we're not separated from them. That's how we think of these spaces, is that they are within us. And even when I was learning, you know, through non-Māori practitioners, non-Indigenous practitioners around the void, the dark, the concept was the same. What they were saying is that that the void is within. And I spent years connecting to it through my breath inside of my body and visualization. So in different ways, we're saying the same thing, that these spaces are within us, right? And when I'm talking about it from like my cultural lens, when we think about it as these spaces being ancestors to us, right? Is meaning that we still have that connection, therefore it is a part of us. So it's the same thing being said different ways. And the point of me bringing this up was because I was reminded that me as a living human being right now, and as a descendant of these places, now Te Kore is like creation, right? Is like the everything. And then we've got our atua, our deities, our gods. And, then we've got everything that was created in the natural world, mountains, waters, animals, everything, every living thing. And me right now, I have a responsibility to those, to the continuation of these things. And this is how a lot of Indigenous cultures and connected people who are connected to nature, this is like second nature thinking, right? For a lot of us. For people who feel that ancientness within them, this is the kind of chat, right? This is the kind of chat that is spoken about. then there is a responsibility to the continuation for the next generations. And what I was reminded is that it's also the other way around as well. And this is the reminder that I absolutely needed, because what we call ira atua, so our atua, our gods, our creators that have come, that come before us as humans right here, right now, they also have a responsibility to us, to our highest good, to our continuation, right? So what that means is that when I remember that this place that can, what I'm here to say is that this process of creation, and I always known this, but just having this reminder, I can language it and feel it in a different way. But just remembering this place that we have to go through for creation, like there's no way around it. The darkness, te pō, and these stages that can be quite daunting because you can't see and there's a lot of unknown, right? That all of creation itself is working in our highest good. And this is te pō, and we can call this our potential is here, right? This is our potential. And creation itself is working in favor of helping us create our potential. So with that reminder, even though it can get hectic in that space, because there's a lot of shape-shifting and bones, I was just watching old YouTube videos of me because I was collating my old YouTube channels, and I was literally listening to myself from 8-9 years ago, and I was like, who is that? Who is that? My balls dropped. I couldn't even, if I closed my eyes and listened to her, I would not place that is me. It was so crazy listening and watching me from 9 years ago on YouTube. So back to the point. There's literally, we are being reshaped within. And so that process can be quite intense. It can, there's things that we're going to need to let go of, things, certain identities that need to be let go of, or that need to die off. So there's literally a process that resembles death in that time, potentially, right? May not require that for some things. But it's another way of saying we've got to let go of the old to bring through the new. But that reminder, that powerful reminder that creation itself has got a responsibility to the continuation of everything. It's working in our highest good because we are it, and it is us, and we're on the same team. We're on the same team. That's pretty much a simple way to put it. We are on the same team. So even when it feels beautiful, great. But when it feels like our bones are getting broken and we're being refashioned and we're getting whacked around a little bit and we're receiving challenges and we are afraid because we can't see where we're going, and we are getting frustrated because we want to know but we can't see because te pō, the dark, the reminder is we're on the same team. And just thinking about this reminder, I was like, holy shit. Even knowing this creation process and having worked with it for many, many, many years, I was like, wow, there's definitely times where I forget that I've got a team. Now I talk about, and I know my tupuna are there my ancestors are there, we're on the same team, but I can honestly admit that even the inner work and even going through some challenges, I don't all, it's hard because it's like I do know that, my tupuna, my ancestors have got my back, but I don't know, I'm just seeing it in a different light now. You're going to just have to pick up on the vibes of what I'm talking about. I'm struggling to find the words, but it's like creation itself, te kore, te pō, the oldest of old ancestors have got backs. They've got my back. There's actually a responsibility about like we're bound, right? I have a responsibility to the continuation of what has been created, and creation itself has got a responsibility to the continuation of what I'm creating. So we're a team. We're working together. And I don't know, that kind of just like makes me go, because there's times where, I get really busy and I do things even when I don't have the energy. I do things even when, like, out of force and out of pushing, because I forget. This reminder has sort of been, no, it is timely. Of course it's timely. But it's like this reminder is such perfect timing that, I want to do well to remember that I don't have to force or push or feel like I'm alone. Because sometimes, like, I know my ancestors have got my back. I know that, the atua, our gods, our, I know that there's backs being had. But there's also parts of me, a lot of parts of me, that are like, right, we got to get this done. Like, we're all on our own here. And I'm like, I don't know, it just feels differently now where I'm like, yeah, and, creation itself has, like, I'm its priority, you know? I am its, like, wildest dream. And so, yeah. Anyway, back to the remix. This program is about a couple of things. Well, literally on the brochure, it says the remix. I forgot. The remix. Reclaiming our authentic rhythm. Okay. When we get in this creation process, so we've got these big bold dreams, right? Planting seeds, right? And then boom. That seed ends up in te pō, and the creation, the germination, the the creation process begins. And then it looks like a challenge. It looks like something difficult. It looks like asking to leave somewhere that we've been for a long time. It looks like, having to stop doing things that we've done for a long time. It looks like having to start things that we've never done before. It looks like us being asked to start communicating a different way, stop communicating in a certain way, to start showing up in this way, to stop showing up in this way, to do the hard stuff. And these are real life examples, that come to us. And that is te pō. That is the real life restructuring of our inner world. This is the seed in action. And because we don't know how to roll with that, we go back, we're like, oh no, actually, never mind that. I don't want that. Right? Well, we don't actually know that it's our seed in action, our request in action. We're just like, oh, fuck that challenge. people can be like, oh, never mind that. I don't want to face this challenge. And when we don't face challenges, what we're actually doing is we're not watering our seed. So it can't make it through to Te Ao Mārama, to the physical. So the Remix program is about supporting, or in this specific program, it's about supporting women, hardworking, high-performing, wāhine, sisters, women, to be able to find their rhythm in the dark, to find their rhythm in te pō. This is what this program is about. It's about bridging. It's about taking who we are, our original track, Island Number 1, and it is about bridging, crossing, navigating our way over to Island Number 3 and becoming this remixed version of ourselves, knowing how to keep our footing, keep our rhythm, through that journey, through te pō. It's easy to dream in te kore. It's easy to dream. To daydream, it's easy. It's easy to see something and be inspired. It's even easier to live the good life, right? Oh yeah, give us Island Number 3 any day. Give us Island Number 3 and let us dream on Island Number 1. But there's a saying, a dream without action is merely a dream. What is that saying? I just used it the other day. A dream without action is merely a dream. Hold on, let me get it. If you know the one, you know the one. Here we go. A vision without action is merely a dream, and a vision... Let's start that again. A vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision merely passes the time. But action with vision changes the world. So, easy to dream in te kore. Easy to dream on Island Number 1, being fed up with what we don't want, but sitting there daydreaming, right? Passing the time, right? Taking action without vision, just passing time, or maybe having too much vision but no action, merely dreaming, right? Easy to do that on Island Number 1. It's also wishful to want to be on Island Number 3 without having to go through that process of te pō, right? That creation process, that reshaping, refashioning process. That's your rite of passage, so that when you end up over here on Island Number 3, it's sustainable because you earned it, because your bones have literally been refashioned to be here. So the action and vision, right, in the space of creation, that changes the world. What world? Your world. It changes your world from living on Island Number 1 to existing on Island Number 3 now. That's why when I was watching my old videos back from 8-9 years ago, one, I was like, oh, so hard to hear me that long ago. My tone, how I talked, I was like, whoa. And I looked at her in that video and I just said, I love you. I love you for starting. I love you for starting. I love you. I love you. Thank you for starting, little baby Jade. Thank you so much for starting on Island Number 1 and, getting the support that you needed to get you over here, right? To get you over here and learn the things you needed to learn to change your world. So that's what the Remix program is all about. Yeah. Changing the world. What world? Your world. And knowing how to handle the challenges that come when we ask for that. So, exciting times. All right, I'm going to leave it there. If you have any questions, come find me. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Insta. Message me. I answer all DMs because I can tell if, I can just tell, no one who's really a waste of time messages me anyway. Only intentional, purposeful people come and have a chat in my DMs. So come and have a chat. And I can smell from a mile away if it's a waste of time. You know what I mean? If it's like a bot or whatever. So please come and have a chat about this. Let me know what you thought. Or just leave a comment on the YouTube, you know. I get those notifications as well. But yeah, it's a buzzy time, because then the last piece of the puzzle was just before, what made me make this video was then I listened to another video. I just opened up my phone and one video played. These people, I don't know their names specifically, but they only make videos for human design projectors. And they were talking on this video and I literally finished his sentence, because as he went to say the sentence, I go, let me guess, he's going to say that projectors are here to be a bridge. And literally that's what came out of his mouth. And I was like, I knew it, right? It's the bridging process. It is projectors. I'm a human design projector. We are here to bridge people from island 1 to island 3, right? To walk that path, to be able to traverse through te pō, through the unseen, through the unknown. That's what we're here to do. And I was like, wow, I gotta make this video and like get all these thoughts off my brains. So yeah, that's what we're up to. You'll probably see, if you've watched the full version of this, you're a fucking legend. And yeah, otherwise this is probably, I'm just gonna chop this up and put it all over socials. So yeah, I don't have time to be like getting all complicated on YouTube and podcasts and all of that. Like, honestly, it's just gonna be like the most simplistic versions of everything, because there's work to be done. There's work to be done. So let's go and do it. All right. Ka kite. Thank you for watching. See you soon.